First of all, once the GUI is launched, we connect the USB cable and the right port will pop up as first in the drop-down tab. Then we press connect and the GUI will start up. You'll notice in the TDC Cal section that the system automatically calibrates the time to digital conversion every time the rangefinder kit is connected. To ensure accurate and precise measurements under all conditions, the system calibrates the delay of FPGA gates at the given point in time. It is possible to calibrate the system at any time with the software reset button, and it is recommended to do so often when performing measurements during some minutes. Before measuring, the supply voltage to the laser diode needs to be enabled. This is a fixed voltage and not adjustable. Secondly, the bias voltage of the Silicon Photomultiplier needs to be enabled as well. In this case, the voltage biasing of the sensor is adjustable from -45 volts to -32 volts to adapt to different use cases of different light conditions. High ambient light environments, like outdoors, will require lower absolute bias levels. If the maximum current value for the Silicon Photomultiplier diode is exceeded, an overload warning is triggered. In such cases, the bias voltage needs to be reduced either with a slider or by pressing outdoor to automatically set the voltage to -35 volts until the overload warning disappears. Finally, before starting to perform measurements, the laser pulse width needs to be enabled. The parameter is not adjustable and fixed to 18 nanoseconds internally to fulfill the eye safety requirements for Class 1 lasers. The value 10 is a dimensionless internal system variable that corresponds to this pulse width. Now we are ready to begin measurements, and this starts with the trigger. The results will be displayed on the histogram, number of samples compared to distance. The actual number of samples can be adjusted up to 254 with the slider. Next to this histogram chart, the average distance as well as the maximum values are numerically displayed. The histogram results can be visualized as time values or distance values. Beyond the trigger mode, the rangefinder operates as well in continuous mode. Once you set the number of samples slider to the max higher edge. The run button now indicates that we are in the continuous mode. In this mode, the number of samples per measurement can be set to different discrete values in the buffer length section, from 100 up to 10,000. Repeated measurements with the selected number of samples will be performed. The tool allows to save the measured data in ToF files, both in the trigger and continuous modes. For that, the Auto Saves checkbox needs to be selected, and you can set a specific directory for the exported files, as well as a name, for example, test01. In continuous mode, you can limit the number of measurements saved, same as number of ToF files generated, with start and stop input text boxes. All the saved ToF data files can be loaded into the chart for comparison.